Hi, please help me welcome Mr. Vikas Bhonsle, who is the CEO of Crayon Software Experts India, in this very interesting series on tech priorities for 2022. Just to understand few things that what according to you are the top trends that will shape the channel and enterprise market in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen a massive amount of transformation happening in the last 2 years, right, across actually our lives, right? And the channel business or our business in general is not going to be immune to all of that stuff, right? In the last few years, especially when I talk about channel partners, I've seen this massive effort where, the erstwhile reseller community or the brick or mortar channel partners, several of them have come to me and said, how do I now reinvent and transform myself to become a cloud player, right? I mean, those days of pure play hardware are long gone. And I've had several conversations with different kind of partners who are saying, we need to now change tracks and we want to become more like cloud partners. And so how do I change myself? What are the kind of people? What's the go-to market and so on and so forth? But what's going to happen in 2020 is going to be slightly more even advanced than what's happening in the past. So all kinds of players today in the market, whether they are small, whether they are big, small SIs, large SIs, resellers, hardware players, a lot of players are now building, and that's what you will see. You'll see a lot of people building their own intellectual properties and aligning services around them. So whether it is a small player, whether it is a global SI, I am seeing everybody come up with their own intellectual properties, their own IPs, and then they're building services around them. So if you really go and today check about anybody in the market, they're all ISVs because they've got some app, they've got some intellectual property, and that's what's happening. So one of the biggest trends that's going to happen in the market, Amit, is that you will see a massive change where people will not only be seen as being ISVs, but they will all morph into MSPs of some sorts where they'll be providing services around IPs that they create.
Can you also talk about few of the highlights of your achievements in terms of business growth and customer acquisition, or maybe new innovations in the last year?
So we have seen unprecedented growth in the last 12 to 18 months, Amit. Upwards of 40% is what we've been growing across the businesses. Our services business, of course, it is coming from a smaller base. That's grown like almost 150, 200%. And so it's been excellent. We are now acquiring more customers than ever before. We are acquiring and working with more partners than ever before. We've got the Great Place to Work accreditation during the pandemic when our people rated us as one of the best organizations to work for. Last year, we even went a step ahead where women folks said this is the best mid-sized company to work for women employees. So it's been great. On the innovation side, from really when you look at the partner ecosystem, we have our own platform called Cloud IQ, and we've done several innovations in the platform. We've got in BI capabilities. So it's become more a forward-looking platform now. What's going to be the consumption, what's going to be the trending, on what areas of the business are you going to consume on. It's given great statistics to our partners who are able to then devise strategies to move forward in the business.
Can you also talk about your India and global footprint and what exactly are your plans for enhancing geographical presence from point of presence or sales point perspective?
Crayon was started in Norway in 2002, and our business in India started in 2015. From 2002 up to 2014, Crayon was largely concentrated in the Nordics, in the European markets. We started to have true global aspirations after 2015. So we started the business in UAE, Africa, in India. We went to the US, Russia, and so on and so forth. So today, if you really look at our global footprint, it's more than 80% of the world buying potential is covered by our space. I guess the only place where we are not there by design is China. But in most other places, we are present from a global footprint. And it's a combination of organic growth and inorganic growth. And by what I mean by that is, very recently, you might have heard that we acquired a company called Ripe, and Ripe has a very, very high user base in ANZ and in South Asia. right? So with that, we've got footprint in the Australia market, right? So it's going to be a combination of organic and inorganic way. Also, some of the partners that we work with, for example, ISVs that we work with today, some of them are present in India, but their coverage is all across the globe, so they have a huge consumption. In almost half of the consumption comes from the US, almost 25 to 30% come from markets like UAE, and the balance comes from Europe, right? And because we are now also working with so many such ISVs, our footprint in that sense is truly global. When I look at the India footprint, we're there in all the A-class metros and the A-class cities. Here again, we follow a very simple methodology. Where there is significant potential, we will invest in our own resources. So if you go to any top tier city in the country today, we have a direct presence. But increasingly, as we look at our business, there is a need to go to Mufassil towns and cities. So we use feet on street, we use sometimes our partner reach. We use a combination of things to provide our reach. But today, in all practical purposes and for all senses, we have a pan-India presence in the country today. Our model is hybrid. We work directly with customers and we work also with partners. We are increasing footprint in the state of Kerala, in the state of Gujarat, in Madhya Pradesh, in the NCR, in Bangalore, in Mumbai this year. So it's about how much of potential. See, one thing we have to be very clear about is how much is the capacity that we can address. How many people can we get on board? There is increasing pressure on us with all the partners that we work with, that we need to have keep spreading our geographic presence. So our approach is very clear. We are doing a hub and spoke model. So somebody who sits in Mumbai or in Pune can address Nasik, Aurangabad, all of those places in around the place. Someone who sits, let's say, in Delhi can do, Agra, Jaipur, and all of those places upfront. So that's the kind of model we have. And through this model, I don't think we have any dearth of addressing capacity across the nation.
Perfect. What are the skills and what are the certifications that you look at when you engage with a partner?
No, I don't think we really look at who we want to, or we choose who want to work with. Our biggest criteria is there potential for me and my partner to go and address with the customer, correct? We do not believe in just onboarding partners where we can say we've got 1,000 partners and at the end of the day we do not do any business with them. So the most important criteria is not for us to figure out whether the partner is small, whether he has capabilities or he does not have capabilities. We have no problems working with anybody. What's important for us is between me and my partner, what is the segment of the market that we are addressing? Is there potential? And together, can we make a difference to that segment in the marketplace? So we work with very, very large partners, who have got all the services capabilities. They've got people, they've got reach, and they use us for sometimes our managed services capabilities, sometimes for our licensing knowledge, sometimes for our multinational reach. Then there are some partners who are very, very good in the number of customers they have. They have a larger footprint in the marketplace, but they do not necessarily understand the cloud space. They do not have cloud management platform. They do not have the tools. So they need our expertise to help them. So we work with them. There are some partners who are very new, SMB partners, the smaller guys, who do not have the go-to-market, do not have the resources, who do not have the services capabilities, and I give them everything. So for some partners, we will give them go-to-market. For some partners, we will give them entire services capabilities. Some partners, we will give them, a multi-geography reach outside of India, for example. Some of them, we will give our own resources. So it's kind of layered. It's multi-tiered in our approach to the partners. As long as someone is very clear that cloud is the space that we want to work on, digital transformation technologies is what our customers would want to adopt and invest in, we are happy to work with.
Very good. So can you also talk about a few of the latest initiatives that you have taken or you are planning to take, basically to add value to pre-sales training or maybe post-sale services for your partners and customers?
Yeah, I think we've done a fabulous job in that space, Amit. Our success clearly depends on the success of our partners. There is no way we can be successful without our partners being successful. And like I said earlier, right, some partners really don't have the wherewithal to go to market. Some don't have the reach to customers. Some have the reach to customers, they don't have capabilities. Others have everything they need, some nuances on licensing or cloud, or some sort of services on the hyperscaler platforms. Uh, so let me give you a few statistics on some of the things that we do. Right. So we do something called as workshops, and these are awareness workshops. We either do it with our partners or we do it with our partners' customers. Right. In the last quarter, or let me say on any quarter on an average, we do about 150 such workshops. 150. Right. This could be education of our partners on Citrix as a service, desktop as a service, on containers, on microservices, on chatbots, on anything. Okay, so this is all about awareness, and this awareness happens when we say it's a partner roundtable. Then we get partners and their people, and we run these education sessions for them on some of the hottest selling topics in the market today. Right, cloud migration, cloud optimization, the adoption of digital transformation technologies, AI, blockchain, containers, all of that stuff, which is really happening in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go back to our customers, our partners, and say, okay, fine, you bring in your customers and we'll address those customers. So we run customer roundtable, we call it CRT. So a partner brings in 10 customers, 15 or 20 customers, and we get our team in, and then we have some predefined subjects and topics that we talk on, and then we kind of run this through the customers for the partners, and then we get involved right from the time of building pipeline right up to closures. We also do search days, and the search days are typically events where we even write scripts for our partners. So these are calling days, we write scripts. There is a call out activity that happens at our premises or the partners' premises. Increasingly now it is happening remote because of the pandemic. And then through that, there is a funnel. The funnel is getting tracked. If there are POCs needed, we do the POCs. If there are migrations needed, we help with the migrations. And then, of course, putting the customer live, and if needed, also running managed services infrastructure at a later point in time. So all of these things are clearly something that we do. It's a massive investment that we have made, and increasingly over the last 9 to 12 months, we've seen a tremendous uptick in the level of activity we do in terms of not only educating the partner, but also helping him win in the marketplace by doing all the pre-sale, sales, and the post-sales activities.
Can you also talk about your plans for onboarding new brands or addition of new business lines for the next 12 to 18 months?
There is always a defined capacity that you would have. And then how much do you want to take on board, and how much justice can you do to the number of products and services that you have. So we're very selective about what we do. You must realize that we cater to both the user and the provider. So we're very careful of how we are doing things. So coming in the next 12 to 18 months, you will see us build on solutions and products which are catering to both the providers and the users. We are doing something on digitizing customer experience, a user experience. We are doing something on the cloud management space. We are doing something on the cloud security space. We are going to enhance the tools that we work with respect to cloud optimization. So these are things that are going to happen over the next 12 to 18 months. So everything in the area of cloud. When I look at our services capability, that's something that's also I need to speak about, right? Because not only, like I said, we are increasing our services capabilities on the cloud optimization and the cloud management and the cloud managed space. We're also looking at what else is required from a governance standpoint across clouds. And because we are agnostic of clouds, our services span different kinds of clouds. So what are the services that we want to have in each of these clouds? Application modernization, DevOps, right? How do we look at data and AI? Increasingly, we are adding layers and layers to the services that we provide to our end customers and partners because we realize that this is an ongoing journey, and we are also cognizant of the fact that we can't become someone who is really big. So there's a very piecemeal approach that we are doing. We started by helping our customers with collaboration tools, by posting their desktops into the cloud. Then we started by taking them and adopting cloud for them, doing the whole assessment, the migration, the POC, the management of the cloud. We are now doing application modernization. We are doing cloud optimization in terms of cost. We are looking at data and AI and whole host of other technologies. So there are several things that are happening. Not everything can be defined on a piece of paper in black and white saying these are the three services, because a lot of these services are bespoke and we keep adding capabilities and resources as we invent the need for some of these services in the marketplace today.
Okay, so my last question would be around your outlook for the technology industry for the year 2022.
Extremely positive. I've always said technology is a great game changer. If you really look at smaller organizations, right, the SMBs or the startup community, what's happening today is tremendous. Today, by sheerly using cloud and the services available on the cloud, they can now compete with the much larger player in the marketplace today. Okay, there is tremendous opportunity on the cloud. Whichever statistics that you look at, the CAGR on cloud is unbelievable. So, cloud is going to be the next big thing in the marketplace today. But it's not only about the cloud. Edge computing is going to be strong. There's going to be storage at both ends of the computing spectrum. Hybrid is still a way to go. There are a lot of data centers who are having on-prem data centers at the customer premise, some application and workloads in the cloud, some on-prem. Hybrid is still the way to go. So that's as far as the cloud world is concerned. But if you really look at the other aspects of technology, without doubt, AI rules everything that we do. How we eat, how we consume, what we select, the level of personalization that it offers in the things we select, in the cars that we drive, in the people that we recruit. AI is absolutely everywhere. The same is with data. Okay, data analytics is going to be a massively big opportunity in the days to come. So is blockchain. And it's not only restricted to regulated industries like finance or healthcare. I know of companies where they are looking at avoiding pilferage using blockchain on the manufacturing floor, about accuracy of how goods are delivered in a logistics organization. So blockchain is certainly going to be something. And then, of course, automation, RPAs, as much as you're trying to digitize the external world, there's a lot of digitization that needs to happen within your internal processes. So RPAs, automation of processes is also going to be a large, big thing. And I had spoken about this in an earlier interview. And I just believe, and I feel that the non-fungible tokens, the NFTs, where you're able to own a large piece of something that you could have never owned in the virtual space, could be the next big thing that could happen. So I think the adoption of technology is going to just go up. Every single organization on this planet who wants to thrive and compete in this rapidly digitally transforming world is going to have to use technology. And I think the outlook for players like us and everyone in the IT industry is very, very upbeat.
Yeah, sure. So technology is going to drive the business world. Thanks a lot for your time and patience for coming on board and having a word with us, having conversation.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Amit.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening and hearing me.